Hi, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of the Designing for Online Learning for Elementary and Lower School Teachers. I'm Jake, and I'm one of the professional learning coaches and facilitators here at GOA. Today, we're focused on wayfinding. I was noticing in one thread in my group where a teacher mentioned that just hearing the term wayfinding and putting a word to a notion or experience that she had already had felt really helpful. And it reminded me of the power of a good metaphor to help us make meaning of the complexities of the world. Wayfinding had a similar effect on me when I first heard it because it put me in an airport, arriving to my gate an hour early, feeling so good and ready to fly and with time to use the bathroom. And hearing it in the context of online teaching, I saw immediately that I wasn't providing this for my students. They weren't giving me the impression that they were feeling relaxed or clear about my intentions for them. My signage wasn't that clear, and they didn't always get where I wanted them to go. So when I thought about the calming impact that wayfinding had on me at the airport, I realized that's exactly what we want students to approach the online portions of their school year to be like. We want them to feel relaxed and calm and get to the right places. So hopefully you're finding some of the resources here in Wayfinding today helpful. Another thing that's come up in threads is the importance of addressing wayfinding explicitly in the beginning of the year with families and students. And so carving out the space and the time to talk about how students are going to navigate through the course. Families have always been a huge element of elementary and lower school classroom support. And now they are our literal classroom aides. So we need to work closely with them and recognize the value in spending time to engage them and make families our wayfinding advocates, even if it means taking something off our plate somewhere else. I've also heard here in the discussion spaces of teachers having positive experiences diversifying how they give instructions. So for instance, playing around with icons and visual cues, as well as pre-recorded audio instructions that students and families can go back and listen to multiple times. So we want to acknowledge that creating all this new content and structure takes time and effort and work. So any way you can do it collaboratively and finding ways to share the workload with your colleagues will be really valuable. And with that, I'll turn it over to Corbett.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Man, I'm just learning, just listening from you, hearing from you. It's been so inspiring to be one of the facilitators of this course. Yes, I'm Corbett Simons, and I'm just so happy to be on this journey with everybody. And in fact, continuing on Jake's theme about that sort of managing bandwidth, right? That's a question and an issue that comes up. How do you manage all the variety of tools? It can certainly feel overwhelming. If you follow GOA's own Eric Hudson on Twitter, and if you're on Twitter, you should. If you're not, and you have a friend who's always going out there and is always on social media and finding things, get them to follow him and send you the good stuff. But you'll see that he talks a lot about, and at GOA we talk a lot about simplifying. It's just essential that you identify the pieces that work for you. The course is a good time to do the divergent thinking and see all the stuff that's out there, but you can't forget that it's important to do the convergent thinking part of it, where you can say, okay, and so it's okay to say, like, I've seen this, oh, there's this amazing Jamboard out there. It's wonderful. And say, that's lovely. We've been using Padlets, so we're going to stick with Padlets. That's okay. I also use something that somebody posted in one of the threads reminded me, Marissa Proctor put out a little checklist for wayfinding tips, and I use them to ask myself, like, be predictable. Or you break tasks into manageable chunks. Is there a variety of text, images, and audio? Is there a pacing guide? And are my students inspired? Back to Jake's point, like, do they feel safe and calm as they're going through this experience? So that's a list that I use all the time as well. We've also seen some questions in the threads around the supporting students wayfinding, like with asynchronous and synchronous time, particularly for the younger students that we know that we need to all be together. And so one thing to do that made me think, we have a teacher that I work with who, rather than think of synchronous, asynchronous separately in a block, does both. Hey, everybody come together, gives instructions. And this teacher actually puts students into the waiting room, not the breakout room of a Zoom, This notion that the students feel like I'm still here, I still have to work. So the student can then go work individually, and then after 5, 10, or 15 minutes, depending upon their age, the teacher pulls them back in. And so that's a way to manage both this asynchronous, synchronous time, even though it's on their schedule from 9 to 10:15 in that one long block. The last takeaway thought that I wanted to throw out there that I saw one of our courageous participants who put in the thread. My takeaway from this module is that I just need to make more videos, have my face and voice out there as uncomfortable as it is for me. So thank you for that person who's willing to be vulnerable, right? Because it's such a powerful reminder that wayfinding is about the student experience and ultimately relationships. By the way, preview for tomorrow's module around designing for relationships, so that hopefully you can see how what you've been doing so far about student agency, wayfinding principles help foster positive relationships even in an online space.
Thanks everybody for your sustained participation this week. A reminder that yes, the discussion spaces are open. There are also specific discipline or school role related threads in the discussion tab within the course. So feel free to post there as well as in the module specific discussions. So that's all for now, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.